Okay, we got a pretty heavy topic for this video based on the request of one of our regular subscribers and commentators. Uh, his inquiry was he's been dealing with the loss of a loved one for quite some time, and I believe I'm just going to paraphrase here. You mentioned how how can I deal with the loss of a loved one without crying forever? So from that, I assume that it has been some time since the loss of the loved one. I don't know what some time is. It's all relative, but clearly the grieving process is not over for you. You would like it to be over so you could move on with the times, so you could move on with life. But the matter of fact is the grieving process is not yet finished. And if you get in the way of it, it's basically like trying to stop the flow of a river by building a dam, or trying to stop the flow of a waterfall, as opposed to letting it flow, letting a waterfall flow until the waterfall doesn't flow no more, because maybe the seasons have changed or something. Because if the water flow is flowing, that's the will of the Tao. It needs to flow so that it can nourish other organisms also. The waterfall needs to flow because everybody along the path of the waterfall is going to benefit greatly from the waterfall. Now, if you come in and somehow you restrict the flow, that's what humans do best, right? Is manipulate nature without any regard for other organisms and life forms. But really, you're interfering with life. You're interfering with life. So in the same way, right now, the tears haven't dried up yet, and the grieving hasn't finished, but you want it to be over, or you wish it to be over, because you want to get back, you want to be joyful, you want to be happy, continue this process of life, and continue to do your thing in life, and look at everything with optimism. But the matter of fact is, the waterfall's gotta fall. It's gonna nourish you, actually. It's gonna nourish everything inside of you here. And if you try to stop it, then the nourishment stops. It's kind of like this. I talked about this in previous videos. I know you keep up with most of my videos, so you'll know what I'm talking about. I talked about how, this was maybe a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I talked about how I was really spent some time crying, because I was feeling like there's so much suffering in the world, and I didn't get in the way of it. There was one day where I sat down here in my room and sort of had a 9 to 5, except for the 9 to 5 was simply crying. And I take breaks in between, go for a lunch break, go for a walk, come back and cry some more. I'd use music, I'd use, some things to kick the momentum, because I was feeling the tension in my face. I was feeling there's a lot of tears here. I was feeling a certain blockage in the heart chakra. So, the feeling of compassion without it being expressed in tears certainly was getting in the way of even me making videos. I didn't really want to make videos. Luckily, I'm always scheduled so much ahead, so I could afford sometimes for periods of time not to make videos if I don't feel like it. So I didn't feel like making videos because there was a blockage here, and so the energy is not going to go to the throat chakra. And I suppose my work here on YouTube forces me to deal always with the lower chakras, because if I am plugged in and making videos and in the mood for the videos, I know that's my feedback. I know the energy is flowing. It's cool. So now clearly you're still in the grieving process. Now, what do I mean by it's going to nourish you? Just like a waterfall needs to flow, should not interfere with a waterfall to nourish all the life organisms. So my nourishment out of all this crying, which went on for about 5 days or so, but the apex of it was for that one day where I was just crying all day, is I said, all right, the tears dried up. I didn't say anything actually. The tears dried up. They dried up. It's just like a waterfall dries up. It's middle of the summer and it's a drought, and there is no waterfall. There is no more river. They say the rivers in modern day Iraq, right? The two rivers. I don't know their names in English. Forat. It's the Arabic name Forat, and I forget the other one. Anyway, the two they're like the cradle of civilization. The two rivers that where civilization began, Sumer and everything. They used to be a lot more fertile. Now major portions of those two rivers dried up. It just dried up. So the tears dried up. But in that drying up, I felt so nourished. I was like, all right. The mission. I've been talking about the mission a lot lately. You think I would be so immersed in the mission right now had I not felt empathically the suffering of the world? Had I not experienced it, and once the tears dried up, I was ready for action. The energy moved up, the blockage, it just the end, the chi got through the blockage, and now it's like, all right, I'm gonna make 2 videos a day. I was making 1, now it's 2. Make 2 videos a day. I'm gonna get back on Instagram and start talking to people again, and have talk to them personally. I'm gonna stay on top of everything. I'm gonna stay on top of the comments. I'm gonna stay on top of everything. I was like, that's my mission, and it turns out that's actually a small portion of my mission. There's other things now that are coming to me about my mission here, but all this chain of events, it wouldn't have gone in the way it's going without me going through the grieving period for the empathic feeling that I was getting, that I was receiving, that there is so much suffering in the world. Now you lose a loved one that's close to you, the grieving period can go on. It can go on for years even. So you have to sit with the grieving process, and the more you accept it and sit with it and let the tears go, like just sit at home and cry. And I get a feeling that if you do that and you just commit yourself to crying, make a commitment to cry. Say, well, I'm very sad now, I'm gonna cry. Use music to instigate the tears. Be in a comfortable place. Although I did it in my room, but now I found these magical nature spots where I just go, and whatever emotion comes up, because I feel so free and there's nobody around me, like nobody can hear. It's just so comfortable. Like the other day, I had a video. Just go back a few videos ago, where I said I was crying because I felt in touch with my mission. Those were tears of joy, and I was like all the way on top of a mountain, all alone at night. Find a comfortable place, and nature herself will actually draw the emotion out of you. And make a commitment to honor the grieving process. So in other words, make a commitment to sit down, remember your loved one, remember all the beautiful memories. That alone will probably instigate tears out of you. Just keep crying, and eventually the tears will dry up. Okay, crying is very therapeutic. Eventually the tears will dry up. Eventually. I can't tell you when. I really can't tell you when. They can dry up in a week. They can dry up in a month. They may not dry up for another year. I don't know where you're at in the grieving process. So you honor it. And the more you honor it and accept it and be it, the tears will dry up faster. They will dry up faster. Okay? They will. They will. And then that blockage in your heart chakra the chi will get through that, and now you go into your throat, or in other words, wisdom. And now because the energy can move upwards, now you could look at things from more of a wiser perspective. Because in truth, death is an illusion. I was listening to the raw material, the law of one, and they look at death so differently in those higher vibrations. They don't look at it as death. There is no such thing as death. So this grieving that we experience for death, that's mostly a third density experience, because we forget who we are and who everyone else is, and we forget the connectiveness of everything. We forget that everyone is an immortal soul and it's all part of a one being. So the grieving process for death and the whole thing with death is actually almost strictly a third density phenomena. They don't experience grieving or sadness or feeling of loss in those higher densities. No, because there is no forgetfulness, there is no amnesia in those densities. So they don't look at it that way. They actually see things as like a game, like they don't look at it that way at all. They just see it, well, I guess that soul now is moving on to another experience, or all right, you want to jump back into another body and finish what you didn't finish yet or something. They don't look at it like that, but they look at it from wisdom. But they have compassion. They understand that, oh wow, because in third density the forgetfulness is so strong, and it's like the toughest density. They have compassion. They don't trivialize death. But in their densities, like they don't see it that way at all, like in those higher densities. So once you're getting through that, once you get through the heart chakra blockage and the energy is moving upwards, you will start to see things with more wisdom. And in that place of wisdom, you will be able to have communication with your loved one via dreams, via telepathy, via astral travel, via channeling. You can channel their spirit, because now you look at it from wisdom. Because now it's like you're so sad, so here you are. All right, I'm gonna get in touch with my with my loved one. But you're sad. You're still not wise. You're not looking at things from the wisdom of understanding that your loved one is right here, like they're just somewhere else now. You could even channel your guides, and they will tell you. It depends, but they will tell you what is going on with your loved one. Also, they may be able to tell you. They may be going through a healing process. They may be now ready to get another incarnation, etc., etc. You should watch something by Joe Gallenberger. So look up Joe Gallenberger, suicide. His brother died in suicide, and he was distraught for many years. But after he gone through his grieving, he also got to the place of wisdom where he actually began to inquire about his brother, and he got to know everything. Like they told him, your brother is going through some healing because he committed suicide, and then they told him he's getting ready after for another incarnation. So you could get actually information. But you're not going to do that when you're still in a grieving state. And eventually he got in touch with his brother. So you're not going to get through to that wisdom where you can now actually psychically communicate with the other side, inquire about the state of affairs of your loved one, and even communicate with them without first going through the grieving, without first letting go of the tears, of the sadness, and all of that. Then you move to a place of wisdom. You realize we're immortals. You realize that you almost feel actually a sense of relief for your loved one, because this is this is very dense, and it's the toughest. This is the shortest. The third density is the shortest one, because it's the one that has the most suffering. So you may even feel a sense of relief for your loved one once you actually begin to see things more from the perspective of wisdom. And again, like I said, that is not going to happen while all the tears and all the sadness are still there. The water flow needs to flow. It will nourish you. You will get some powerful insights once the tears dry up and the sadness sort of resolves itself, and you move to a place of wisdom and a place of again, a place of joy. And you know, often people, once they get through the grieving window, they feel invigorated, and they feel a sense of mission. You know, you hear people say, I'm gonna do this now for my dad. You know, I'm gonna honor the memory. I'm gonna do this, and that for my dad or for my mom, or for, you know, you see this all the time. Like Rocky, you know, Rocky. When Mickey dies, right? So Mickey, his coach. Then I think in the fifth Rocky, you know, he was fighting this guy, and you know, he was getting him down, right? And he was almost knocked out. He was knocked down, almost knocked out. And then he had a memory of Mickey, his coach, who passed away. And you know, he saw the memory, and he remembered this very touching moment with Mickey, where Mickey said, you know, he gave him this thing, and you know, he told him, you know, always never go down, or something like that. And then Rocky remembers it, and he just gets up. He gets up, and he goes on with the fight. So you hear this all the time. You hear this of people having this powerful sense of mission, powerful sense of purpose. But often that happens after the grieving period is over. So invite the tears out. If you would like this process to be less painful, then you have to go through the pain full immersion. If you go half in, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you're not emptying the cup. So if you're committed to emptying the cup, emptying the vessel, it'll nourish you. The waterfall will fall, and it will nourish you. It will release tension, first of all, from here. It will release blockages and things that are stuck in here. It'll actually nourish the rest of your body, and it will nourish your psyche. And then once it dries up, it means you're ready for a new season, right? When a waterfall dries, it means, you know, it's a new season. Often, like if you're in Africa or something, that's like summer. You know, that's like a summer. And then it's a new season, so now it's a new season. So honor the season that you're in right now. So hopefully this helps you with your situation. And yeah, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Once you move to that place of wisdom, you'll see. Yeah, that's the human condition. Tough. So thank you to the Patreons for your support. Thank you for everyone who supports on PayPal, you know, one-time donations, all the family who's been supporting continuously now for over a year. I love you guys. Saeed Mobayed on Instagram if you want to speak personally and just reach out. I do my best to answer everyone. And that's about it. Until next time, may the force be with you.